right, so I'm going to put my yellow right here, and things are going according to plan. Your turn, Robert.
Let's go with red.
Shit!
Tiny Towns is a city building game in which every player gets their chance to call the shots, or rather wield the tiny hammer, which designates who's the master builder for the turn. See, in this game, players take turns being the master builder in which they declare what color cube everyone has to build with. And while these are supposed to represent like wood and styrofoam or some other stuff, really it comes down to the 5 cubes that are available in Tiny Towns. Now, again, if you are the master builder, you declare a color, let's say gray, and every player has to take a gray cube and place it on a vacant spot in their tableau. The catch is that there's also going to be a list of buildings that are available, and if you have completed the little tetromino representing that you have the right colors and the right order on your board, you can choose to sweep them away and put that building into play, applying all of its cool effects. And if you're like me, you could be like, dude, where is the gameplay? Because if everyone is using the same building materials in the same sequence, they could just choose to build in the exact same positions and have the exact same buildings. So it's just a homogenized city landscape for all players. But aha, Tiny Towns is a game of small decisions making a big impact. At the start of the game, players are given 2 face-down monument cards to choose from. This monument can be constructed just like any other building on the table, but this one is yours and yours alone. Some may just be big points, others have cool abilities, like allowing new buildings to go to any vacant spot or letting you swap some existing buildings for others. Either way, with this one simple move, the selection drives the entirely divergent gameplay, and it's brilliant! And the brilliance doesn't end there. See these beautiful buildings? Like I said, they correspond to different building cards that are on the table. The thing is that there's 4 different building cards for every different building shape, so you have a ton of versatility in this game. Take, for instance, this one right here. One game, this may be your warehouse, which is storing cubes on top, giving you options because you can swap these out with unwanted cubes later on, or just give a place for the cubes that you don't want to place right now. That is awesome. On the other hand, another game, it may actually be a factory where you get to put a cube on top when you build it, and now every time that cube is declared as the color, you can place any color. And there are so many different combinations that you can have in this game, well, except for cottages, because cottages are always the same because someone has to be vanilla. But yeah, I mean, they change up not just the monuments, but the regular buildings. The well may give you points for being next to the cottage, or it may give you points for being adjacent to another well. Maybe you're going to have a well-heavy game. Between the building changes during setup and the monument choice that you make at the beginning of the game, Tiny Towns shows extreme elegance in how to keep an abstract puzzle game feeling vibrant and new. Through the course of the game, eventually a player will no longer have spots to place cubes, at which time the other players continue until all player boards are entirely full and scoring commences. This creates a pressure to be constantly constructing and adds stakes to where you place every single cube. You need a canvas to improvise because undoubtedly players will call out colors you don't want, and if you spend your time only focusing on your master plan, you'll end up with a lot of wasted materials, and wasted materials are worth negative points at the end of the game. In case it's not obvious, I really enjoy this game. It's fun, it's smart, and it has some really great components. One of my favorite things about this game is the claustrophobia as you build more and more on your player mat, leaving you less space to put all these cubes out there. And you have to start making decisions about what you want to build versus what you're likely going to be able to build by the end of the game. It feels really compelling. But those choices, they may not be easy for everyone. I've never played a game that was so reliant on spatial reasoning as this one. I've seen a few really smart, capable gamers absolutely flounder when it comes to figuring out the different rotations and positions of these blocks and planning and accounting for them, let alone mirror arrangements, which are absolutely legal in this game. They still had fun, but they did have to break their brains a little bit. So if you have a hard time with spatial arrangement, then expect a little bit of mind bending to come with this game too. That said, there is so much to like in this tiny town. It's very easy to pick up, plays quick, but packs in a lot of meaningful decisions. The parameters changing from game to game allows for new exciting combinations with an overall familiar gameplay. I also love any game that really feels like you're constructing a city and filling up your grid with cubes. Improvising city development as you wipe and populate with the wonderful building pieces is a joy. I also like that this game is both non-confrontational but highly interactive in that your opponent's decisions can have huge ramifications for you and your turn, and players are rewarded for both long-term and adaptive strategy. The last two things I want to mention are that the game has a solo mode and a multiplayer variant, both utilizing a deck of cards depicting these cubes. The solo is pretty fun, where you continue to pick and place a good from the 3 cards on display, putting the chosen card on the bottom of the deck and replacing it with the one from the top, comparing your completed city against a scoring bracket at the end. It's clever, easy to manage, and a nice inclusion. The variant mode takes out rotating player decision, and instead, players collectively place cubes based on the next card from the deck. Then every third turn, each player gets a cube of their choice. This variant fell completely flat for me. I think it takes away from the heart of the multiplayer game. Being driven by the whims of your opponent is a small but really meaningful aspect that I would rather not lose out. Good thing the standard multiplayer game is still really good. While it's not the biggest, deepest, or certainly not the most confrontational game ever, Tiny Towns really feels like a game that's exactly what it sets out to be, and that's a great little abstract city builder that's a challenge not to enjoy, and that's why I highly recommend it. And that's the Cardboard Herald's review. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcasts, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.